Boom, what's going on, you guys? How are you all doing? What is going on? Today, we have the very first of what should be many podcast episodes. Just me today. Eventually, at some point, I will want to have guests on here. But for now, it is just me. And I wanted to make something for people who are just kind of chilling and maybe drawing or they're writing or they're doing some type of job and they just kind of want something to hear, and also as a way for people to hear my thoughts outside of a video game and stuff like that and whatnot. So, yeah, I do have. I went on Instagram, and if you aren't following me on Instagram, go ahead and go down below and do so. The link will always be in the description of my videos. Um, and I asked some people for some topics or some questions to talk about today. And at the very end of it, I will be having something that I wanted to talk about that I feel is very important and special. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Um, I will have show notes in the description box below if you want to hear a specific part, or unless, because I know YouTube does that sometimes, but I don't know how to make it always do that, where you can kind of fast forward to certain parts. So I will put that down below if you wanted to hear certain parts and whatnot. So make sure you check that out, and thank you for watching, and let's freaking get into it. So right off the bat, we got one of my homies, one of my best friends, my boy Devin. He says, best rappers of all time and my funniest champ story. So we'll start off with the rapper part, right? So favorite rappers. I would say my top three, and this isn't looking at it objectively. So there's really like there's no debating. It's just what I prefer. I can look at rappers from an objective standpoint, but this is my personal opinion. Who do I want to? Who are like the three rappers? If I could only listen to them, the three that I would listen to for the rest of my life. So first would be Kendrick Lamar, who is my favorite rapper of all time. It's kind of crazy to say that, but he's just ridiculous, man. I love Kendrick Lamar, and he still has like more music and more time to make more stuff. So, he's only gonna get better. Tupac for sure, definitely Tupac. I mean, I know that's kind of like a given answer, but Tupac is there's just too many good songs he has for you to not want to listen to him forever. And probably Eminem. I'm not a fan of current Eminem as much. I think he has some dope qualities about him, but I don't know. There's just too many songs that I like. I know all the lyrics of, and I grew up listening to him. My mom listened to a lot of Eminem, so it's just synonymous with being a child and learning how to rap and how to get into music. So he was definitely a big part of that. So yeah, and then funniest champ story. If you don't know what Champs is basically Foot Locker. They're in the same umbrella of the Foot Locker company. So Champs is like a subdivision of that. And I did work at Foot Locker / Champs for like 3 years. So I think my favorite memory being at Champs, I had a lot of good one. I had a lot of fun with the people who worked there, and I also had a lot of times that weren't as fun, but it was a lot of like growing, and a lot of us were really young working there, so a lot of us were just trying to learn how to run a store. Like, it's crazy how young people can be running a freaking whole store. But I would probably say my funniest Champ story. Dang. There's literally so many. There's so many funny moments. Um, Honestly, I think it would probably be. Um, there was one time where me and you, Dev, were in the back room by the cameras where we knew we could like if someone came near the door, if I yelled extremely loud, they would hear me. So I asked this girl Sophia to go look at something in the back counter, and she was kind of looking around. And then I remember screaming at the top of my lungs and kind of scaring Sophia, but also mainly just kind of confusing her. And then Devin was dying of laughter. Like, I've never seen Devin laugh that hard ever. His face was super red, and he was crying, and it was the funniest thing in the world. So I would probably pick that as my favorite Champs moment that you and I have had. I can't pick one just in general. There's just way too many. I would have to pick one with every specific person that worked there, and that would just have to be it, because there were a lot of really good and funny moments there. So yeah, absolutely that. And then my boy Eddie Melendez, he asked me a couple questions and topics to talk about. So we'll just run through them real quick. First and foremost, he wanted to ask about cops, about police. Um, I would probably say my thoughts in general about police is it's a necessary job when done correctly, when done by the right people who care and who are really about their community. I think there are things that police can do better, obviously, and I think there are a lot of terrible people who are cops and policemen. But to me, the people who are we see in the news killing all these unarmed people of color and are doing all these terrible things and super racist. To me, those are just bad people in police uniforms. I think that the police, like some of the good ones that I've met in my life, are genuinely good people who are there to protect you. When you if let's say someone breaks into your house and you call the police, and that's the one who saves your family. Maybe you have a kid, or you have like a grandma who lives with you and they save your family. Like, that is someone who was able to respond to your call and help you out. Now, in terms of keeping like people on the road on check, like stopping drunk drivers and getting people off the road, like they help with that. But I think police as an idea is good. I think the ways it could be better is things like, let's say you're driving with, and one of your tail lights is broken, right? And you didn't know, and a cop pulls you over for that. I think something that would be cool is you get the cop can give you some kind of like referral or paperwork that'll, I don't know, maybe make the process of fixing that a little bit easier, or maybe they give you some information on where you can go to fix it, how to get financial help to fix it if you can't. I think focusing more on the serving part more than just the protect part. Obviously, the protect part I think is vital and essential, but I don't know. I feel like they should be more helping people. And there's way too many people who are able to become cops that are ruining it for all the great people who are just trying to help their community and do the right thing. And that's really sad to see. And it sucks. It really just sucks. I think it just really comes down to the person. But the idea of police, I think, is a good idea. And I think it needs to be relooked in the standards of what can make a cop, what a cop should be able to do, the things they have at their, dispense. But one thing I will say about police officers who are immediately going to shooting people and things like that, I saw this video from this comedian named Ryan Davis, and he was saying how police officers basically are shooting people who are resisting, quote unquote, or maybe people aren't really resisting, like they're just so ready to pull the trigger, when in reality their whole job description kind of centers on them dealing with people who are going to resist arrest or resist capture or are doing terrible things, or they're just making prejudgment. And it's funny how the first thing they go towards is a firearm before they go to a stun gun or a taser or handcuffs, or they try to resolve the issue in any other way. Like, is it a lack of training? Like, are they not literally mentally prepared to handle those situations? There's just so many different things that go hand in hand with what they're doing, and I feel like they have way too many other options of dealing with people. And I don't know. I just feel like they always seem like they're too caught, quote unquote, off guard, as they claim, thinking like, here in one of the cities I live near, we had a young man who was walking around with an airsoft assault rifle, which I believe I heard he sprayed the orange tip of it black, and police saw him and shot and killed him, and that's obviously, I mean, there's a lot that goes into that. A lot of people are saying he shouldn't have been carrying that around, and obviously he shouldn't have. That is something you don't just walk around with that in public. but I don't know. I have no idea if they like pulled over and shot first and then asked later, but I feel like there has to be way more just options of dealing with those kinds of situations. So before I keep talking in circles, I think the idea of police is good, but it needs to be relooked at. It needs to be redone. Like I feel like we're just in a time where just because or like the world or I guess our country isn't relooking at everything. We're not what's the word I'm looking for? Reflecting on how everything's working. We're not looking. We're just kind of doing it the old-fashioned way all the time. I don't know. That's just my thoughts on that. He also asked about my future goals. My future goals really just kind of come down to I want to know. I have gotten to a point in my life where I know who I am and I know what I want to do, which is YouTube and streaming and making content and making videos with my friends. And now my future goals are to obviously be successful in that, and being successful is reaching as many people as possible and hopefully able to be a positive source in their life, maybe something to look forward to or to inspire. Um, Also, a goal is to start my own family and give my kids the best opportunity to continue on a successful life. I would like to be the last person slash generation in my my different families' lives to we're not all super poor. I'm not saying like we're all like in poverty and like we don't have any money. We get our bills paid and we have our food and we have our fun, but to be the last one who has to think about rent at the end of the month and has to worry about how to get a car and how am I going to get the money to fix this. Like I want all of us to live a life of wealth and find out how to create assets for ourselves and for our family so that the rest of our generations are able to do that as well. And one thing I'm trying to work on is like not saying when I'm successful, but or like not saying hopefully if I'm going to be successful, or let's say I do, but when I am successful and I'm able to save up enough money, I want to definitely put it back in my community in different ways, especially opening up housing in California. That's really tough. So I really just want to invest a lot in real estate and housing and provide housing to people who really need it. Like, I would love to go through an entire neighborhood of buildings that I have either built or I was able to. I don't even know how real estate works. I'll get into that later in my life. But, like, I would love to be able to go door to door and check on people who live in these houses that they're able to afford and still have fun and still enjoy their life. And being able to help them do that would mean the world to me. Getting to know them and hear their stories would be amazing. So that's just a couple of my goals. I have many others. I would say my ultimate goal is how can I be the biggest source of positivity and change in other people's lives, being my family's, random people, stuff like that. So that was definitely a good one. He also asked another question that I'm not going to ask. I'm not going to talk about, but he knows what he typed. You're silly. I'm not even going to bring that up. Not even going to show it. And then his last one was about relationships. So that's kind of a general question, excuse me, or kind of vague. There's no like one specific answer, I guess. But relationships, I feel like, are extremely useful and are necessary for a lot of people. Now, obviously, there are exceptions, but when you're in a good relationship, a healthy one that I would define as a good and healthy one, your life is immediately better and it's something you never look back on. And what I define as a healthy and good one is one that doesn't feel forced, one that doesn't take away from yours or the other person's life, but adds to it. You get a partner in crime, so to speak. You are able to see a future with this person, and you're able to be your happiest, and they don't take away anything from you. Essentially, is what a relationship is. Now, I've been with my partner for a little over 6.5 years. We met in high school, and we've been together ever since. I mean, obviously we've had our ups and downs and a lot of different things in between, but um, at the core, we've always had this love, and I know who I am and what I want to do now, and she supports me in that, and she knows what she wants to do now, which was really exciting. I said that in the last crash video. I had a really interesting conversation with my lady, and basically that conversation was, she was telling me what she finally figured out what she wanted to do, and me knowing her and listening to what she said, it didn't really match up with what her genuine interests and passions are. So after we talked about it for a little while, and I kind of made her think, like, is that really what you want to do? Like, do you really want to take all these different classes, or would you rather be doing something else? And so putting all of her energy and focus into, she wants to start her own clothing brand. She's been really into customizing shoes. She was showing me a lot of designs that are really dope. So be sure to definitely follow me on Instagram. I'm going to be posting them all the time and shouting out her pages and whatnot. So make sure you guys go do that. But she's amazing, man. Just seeing some of the sketches of her design, she's ridiculously good, and I'm so proud of her, and I think she's going to do a fantastic job. But at the same time, we're not taking away from each other's lives. We're adding to it. We're supporting each other, and we're making each other's lives better. And we see a future of starting our own family and being successful together. So I think a relationship is super duper amazing. I don't think maybe you need it in your young life as much, but I mean, when you're late in your life, you definitely, if you can help it, don't want to be alone in a house. Um, that just doesn't seem like a life I want to live. It just doesn't seem like that. So I think that's definitely um, my thoughts on relationships, I guess. Um, so I'm gonna stop the recording right now and make sure it's not messing up, because if I record like an hour long of a podcast and the audio's out of sync or stopped working or something, I'm gonna rip my hair out. So I'll be right back. 3, 2, 1. All right, and picking up right where I left off. Luckily, everything's working. Thank God. I got another question from my one of my closest female friends, Miss Leah, who's actually Eddie's lady as well. So, by the way, very happy for your guys' relationship. You guys are thriving and doing wonderful. Way to go. Very proud of what you guys have been doing and have been starting, and have had for a while now. I think it's approaching 2 years, maybe 2.5. I think. I don't know. She said, "Who was the best superhero and why?" Now, this was an interesting question because, to be honest, I don't remember a lot of the older Marvel movies. Like I'm not a movie person in the slightest. I've like the movies I could talk to you guys about are like the kids movies that we grew up with, like Madagascar and Shrek and those kind of movies. But I don't know, me sitting down and watching a movie is tough as a kid. I can do it now, but it has to be something I really want to see, or I have to see it with the right crowd. um, but I really didn't watch that many superhero movies growing up, so I don't have a lot of memories of like all the older Iron Mans, the Captain Americas, the Hulks, the Spider-Mans, and all that. I really don't have that many memories watching any of them. The one I can remember the most and that I loved to death was Thor Ragnarok. Obviously, the superhero movies where everyone's in them are the best, but just based off of, I played a lot of Marvel Ultimate Alliance. If you know what that game is, it's like the greatest superhero game ever. And my go-to character was always Deadpool. I always loved that he had guns, and he's hilarious. And so I would say he's probably my personal favorite superhero. Him, Thor, or Hulk are all my favorites. I love them all for different reasons. But looking at it from an objective standpoint, so who is the best superhero? Because you didn't say who's my favorite. Now, if you meant that, my favorites would be, like I said, Deadpool, Hulk, and Thor. But objectively looking at it, who is the best superhero? I'll give one from Marvel and I'll give one from DC. From Marvel, I mean, it's Iron Man, easily, and it's really not even close. he's obviously the best. He is. And it's not even like he needs some overpowered, super ridiculous powers that you can't get anywhere. His powers are literally like he's extremely intelligent. He's played by a great actor, by an all-time great actor, which helps a lot. Kind of understand his character. So Robert Downey Jr. is a legend for being able to really make us get into Iron Man. He Robert Downey Jr. kind of made it to a point where when you don't hear his voice as Iron Man, like in video games, or you don't see him in TV shows as Iron Man, it feels weird. Like it feels off. You're like, who even is? I don't even want to see Iron Man if it's not Robert Downey Jr., you know? But I mean, if you've seen, obviously you've seen Endgame, you know the ending and all that, but just everything. He's the essential part of what is the greatest, like, um, series of movies, I guess. I mean, you think of all the Marvel movies that, I mean, you know, we all know how they all kind of intertwined and all led to, like, Civil War and, you know, all that jazz and Endgame and freaking, I don't remember the names of the other ones. What, like Infinity War or something? I don't even know. But, you know, he's just the essential part to the solution to the problems. I don't know. He's just the best. I know I don't, like I said, I don't remember all the movies. I remember liking Iron Man. I don't remember the movie, but I do remember being a kid and liking him. But yeah, he's probably objectively he's the best from there. And from DC, I mean, I don't know, bro. I really like Batman. Like Batman is DC. I'm on the Batman side of the Batman versus Superman side. I freaking love Batman, and I think a lot of it has to do with the Joker, because the Joker is probably my favorite character from any superhero thing, just in general. Like the Joker is just you don't get better than him. He's just the best, because he's a hero in his own right to a certain extent. Like you go back, you watch The Dark Knight. I mean, like realistically, the Joker, he got rid of all the mafias that were in there. He got rid of all of them, took all their money, and burned it all, and left them with nothing. So he got rid of the three big gangs. Ever since Batman came in, criminals started becoming more advanced and stuff like that. Oh, I think the camera lagged a little bit, but ever since Batman started being a hero, the criminals got more advanced. Started using better weapons and started coming up with more destructive plans and stuff like that. And there were more people trying to be a hero. So Joker saw that as bad pretty much and stopped it. He stopped the Batman in The Dark Knight. Like the Batman kind of retired. And he did all that by seeming like a villain, but realistically he was the hero. He did what he did. You know, it's pretty crazy, but yeah, definitely Batman, just because the Joker is so good. Like they're so good going head to head and seeing how he's, you know, able to fight off all the villains he encounters and whatnot. Like it's always a good time. I love Batman from DC. So that would probably be my picks for the best superheroes and whatnot. Now I got some questions for my man Banana Brandon, the legend himself. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? Oh, good. Um, he said, "What is my favorite or least favorite thing about myself?" Now, I think my favorite thing about myself is probably my sense of humor, because it's gotten me through my life. I was gonna say pretty far in my life, but I would just say it's gotten me through my life. That's usually the first trait people think of when they describe me to other people, or they say like, excuse me, back in the day, you remember when people used to give you the "to be honest" and whatnot? The first thing was always funny and stuff like that. So that's what usually resonates with people is my sense of humor. So that's probably my favorite thing. That's probably the thing I enjoy the most, and it's led to the greatest memories that I don't think I would ever be able to have if I didn't have a strong sense of humor. Now I'm not saying like I'm the funniest man alive and I'm guaranteed to make you laugh if you ask me for a joke. I got one right on the spot, but I'm able to have fun with people, and there are a lot of people who are ridiculously hilarious that I've met. Like a guy I used to work with named Charles is probably the funniest guy I've ever met in my entire life. My auntie Monica is ridiculously funny, She is so freaking funny. And there's just a couple other people who will have me laughing forever. Mr. Hashimoto, yeah, yeah, ridiculously funny, bro. And it's funny because a lot of people don't see that side of him. They see him being funny, but they don't see him being like goofy funny. And I've seen all of that, and he is ridiculous, man. And my least favorite is probably my laziness, my procrastination, with in terms of my health and stuff like that. I kind of, after I graduated, or actually a little bit before I graduated high school, started gaining more weight and caring a lot less about my health and whatnot. Now I'm not saying like I'm not healthy in terms of like a good figure. I'm not where I want to be, I guess is the best way I can put it. But I don't have I haven't caused myself to have any medical conditions or anything like that. Like I haven't given myself something in terms of like diabetes or any kind of problems being active based off of my laziness. But I want to change that before I even do that. And actually, after this filming of the podcast, my apartment complex opened up their little small gym and their pool. So I'm gonna start going to that little fitness center and working on some cardio and whatnot, and trying to get back in the movement of doing things. And I started going out and playing basketball a lot more, which is good. Just myself or maybe one friend, but I'm going out there shooting more. I want to get good at basketball again. But that's probably my least favorite thing. But I like that that's something I can change, and I definitely need to clean my room, as you can kind of see in the background. So I need to stop being lazy. I need to get up and just start doing stuff. I need to start treating my career more important and serious than my job. Like I'm never late to my job, and I'm always doing a good job when I'm at work. But when it comes to my career, which is YouTube, and when it comes to cleaning my room or being fit, that's when I'm the laziest. And I feel like I have that backwards. So I'm working on flipping it around. Um, he also asked why Rock Lee. And if you don't understand Naruto, you won't understand anything I'm talking about here. But if you do know Naruto, which by the way, if you somehow have not seen Naruto, I highly recommend you watch it. Like it's good. There is some filler. Now I'm not an anime guy. Don't try to talk to me about anime down below. I've only seen Naruto and Pokemon, but I haven't finished either of those. I haven't even finished the first like regular Naruto series type thing. I haven't gotten to Shippuden or any of that, so don't tell me nothing in the comments. Don't no anime. I can't speak anything about anime. But what I do know is Rock Lee is my favorite person in Naruto. And here's why, dude. Rock Lee, when I first saw him, I was like, this dude is so ugly and dumb. Like, who the heck is this? But once you find out about him, bro, he is the rawest guy, low key. Now, he doesn't have, I, I guess, quote unquote powers, as people who don't really watch the show or anime and stuff like that may help them understand more. Everybody in there has certain types of jutsu and stuff like that, so it's pretty much superpowers, but a lot cooler. So he doesn't have any of those. All he has is hard work and heart. That's all he has. And with his hard work and his heart being in the right place and his grinding mentality and pushing through adversity, he is on par with everybody else who's given certain traits. Now, obviously, they work on their jutsus and their traits and stuff like that. So, I'm not saying they're lazy. They were just born raw. But, like, everybody has something that you can't quite teach, so to speak, to everybody else. They have something unique about them. I mean, technically speaking, everybody else could be Rock Lee. They could be as fast as he is and whatnot, but they don't have that same work ethic he does. If everybody worked the way Rock Lee does, oh my god, like, wow, that would be ridiculous. So, I mean, everybody remembers, the scene where he took off his ankle weights. I won't go any further in depth, but that man's crazy. Come on, when anybody who seen Naruto saw that, you were like, what the freaking heck? Hold up. He was going toe to toe with Sasuke, and I think wasn't he winning at first? You're like, wait, what? and you see his different kind of forms, like fighting styles, bro. It doesn't get better than Rock Lee. He's just pushed through so much adversity and continues to work hard, and gives his life to protecting the right people. He's just the best. He's just the best. And he said, can you be a guest feature someday? Of course you can be on here someday. Of course I'll have you on here. Of course, it's not even a question. So stop it. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, of course, dude. You know I love you. And then I had a just our friend William just telling me he just wants to hear my voice. Thank you. I guess I don't mind hearing my own voice, but I don't think it's special in any way. Congratulations to William on the beautiful baby girl. That's amazing. I'm super duper proud and happy for you to have a healthy baby in the middle of a pandemic and doing all the right steps to making sure that she and Emilie, who is his girl, the mother, and they are together and a very happy little couple with a little baby, making sure that they stay safe and that they're healthy, and doing what you need to do as a man. Like, I've had some deep conversations with William about his life and where he comes from, and that's a dude where his heart and mind is in the right place, man. He's a great guy. That's definitely a guy who deserves a child. He is a great father, and I feel very comfortable knowing that there is a kid who's going to learn the same things that he's had to learn himself. So, proud of you, William. Love you, dude. Way to go. If you need anything, I got you. And yeah, way to go, man. Then we got some other person I used to go to school with, named Ulysses. He says race issues. Woo! I could be here for hours talking about that, but let me kind of let me just say one thing about them, and I'll let you guys go out and listen to other people speak about adversity and race issues that they face, because there's a lot of people who have faced some really terrible things because of their race, and I've faced discrimination and stuff like that, but not to a certain level of other people. So I'm just gonna talk about a thought I've had about about race issues and stuff like that. I think the biggest thing with race issues is we feel so divided in terms of, as colored people, it seems like we get along and we get together, but not to a level I think we could reach. And what I mean when I say that is, I feel like for some reason we act like now I don't know the stats, but I'm very confident that there are more colored, meaning African American, Hispanic, people of Asian and / Chinese descent, Native Americans, everything else in between. Excuse me. I'm pretty sure there's more of us than there are of racist white people. Now, there are a lot of white people who are extremely cool people. I mean, like I mean, I'm just a quick shout out. This is my friend Emilie. She painted this, right? This, by the way, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna put her Instagram down below. I asked her for permission. She said I could. Go to her Instagram, get you a painting. Look at this. I didn't tell her any. I just said I wanted a painting that I can hang. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Ridiculously talented. Go on there, support her. Go ask for, maybe she'll paint you something. Make sure if she does paint you something that you pay her. Do not ask for no free paintings. She deserves every cent. She deserved every cent for that, but she is a white person, a white female who I've known for a long time, and all she does is post about race issues and stuff like that. And she's very supportive, and she's honestly very cool with colored people. Like, she's dope. So I will kind of throw them in that group, I guess. And obviously there are not good people of color and whatnot. But let me just stop trying to add all these variables. Obviously we know there are variables. as a collective group of colored people, we need to be more unified in the sense that I may not know who you are, right? But I got you. You know, um, if obviously like my friends, I got their back no matter what. If they're hungry, come over. I got food. If they're like, bro, I don't know how I'm gonna get to this job interview, or whatever. I got you on a ride. Um, but I feel like we need to not limit it so much as to people that we are like best friends with. It needs to be bigger than that. Like I imagine like a neighborhood, right? So let's just say, for the sake of an example, let's get an apartment like group, right? Like not a single, but like a squared off section of 10 apartments. All right. Each one of these apartments has there's like a Hispanic family, African American family, Asian family. All there's a family representing each ethnicity and whatnot, right? And none of them know each other. But if anyone from any of those houses come over and need something, they need, um, I mean, the usual thing is they need sugar or whatever, right? But like, um, food, they need help with something, like they need help moving some furniture, something's wrong with their, I don't know, their car, they need some help. As a person of color, I'm going to help them. Just as a person, I'm going to help them. But especially because I know the type of adversities that people of color face. So I'm going to help them regardless, right? Now, another thing that I feel like is extremely important that it just seems like a lot of us can't quite get there yet, and it's really irritating. But if you enjoy watching content, right? You love watching TV, watching those drama shows, or just anything. All these like Real Housewives of this, or all this other stupid fake TV crap. Um, if you see someone locally in your city, like a friend of your friend, who is trying to start something, whether that's a YouTube channel, doing makeup tutorials, or gaming and stuff like that, support them. Support black owned businesses. Go to the local Asian restaurants or like donut shops. Go to the local taquerias or taco trucks or whatever. Go to the local shops. Um, I have friends like who sell merch and stuff like that. Like, support one another, man. Get people of color owned businesses and stuff like that. Get them up there. Support them as much as you support the common, like, quote unquote white owned businesses. Now, like I said, people who are not of color but are supporting us, like, I welcome them kind of as their own people of color type of deal. Because I would say white history is kind of rooted in hate and racism to a lot of to a large degree, but the best kind of people who I've met personally who are white are people who can empathize and can live their life through seeing what people of color have had to gone through, and are not proud. They're not proud of their old history, their color, of what they've done, and basically have turned their back on that and have turned towards supporting and being aware and empathetic. So I consider them like in our group, like they are their own type of thing to me. But just supporting each other, man. Like I don't care if I don't know you and your family. Like, if I see Hispanic lady come next door and she's asking if I can help her move something, I mean, well, not because of COVID, I probably wouldn't. But like, let's say no COVID, of course I'm gonna help her. You know, when I go to get a donut, I could go to Krispy Kreme, which is this huge like business owned corporation type of deal, or I could go to the local donut shop where this family. Now, to be honest, the best ones are always made by Asian families. I don't They are magic with donuts. I'm gonna support their shop before I support this corporation who already has millions. They may be looking for how are we gonna pay for this building and how are we gonna pay for our kids to go to school. I don't need to give them what, like $20 more towards a million. I'd rather give them, the Asian family, $20. Um, if I'm hungry, I mean, I could go, and this is something I need to kind of stop doing. If I'm hungry, I mean, you can go to Taco Bell, I guess, or I could. Why wouldn't I go get authentic Hispanic food? A, street tacos are ridiculous. I went and got some at 1 o'clock in the morning the other night. um, but you get better quality, and I don't care if it's maybe you have to pay a little more here or there or whatever. I don't care. Taco Bell doesn't need my money. Who does need my money? Maybe the people who are, as a family, cooking and preparing this, and when they were little kids, their grandma used to make um, like all kinds of different foods, so now they're bringing that to us. Yeah, I'm gonna support them. I want them to be successful and thrive. Why wouldn't I? I think that's one thing that's easy to do. Okay, it's maybe not easy because you kind of have to flip your mind around because you're so used to when I want, like, for women example, when I want lashes, I guess I don't know where girls get lashes. I don't know, Target or something. I don't know. I have no idea. But there are so many different women around my city who are now selling lashes. They're selling earrings that they make and stuff like that. And those are people of color who want to start something to be able to retire their family so that they can relax and they don't have to rely on each other, or not rely on each other, rely on the help of government assistance and, you know, stuff like that. And I think if we just help each other more and are more kind to each other, just like, I don't want to, I would never commit a crime just in general, but especially not against a colored person. I just wouldn't. Like, imagine robbing. I could not imagine robbing a Hispanic mother or father, because Hispanic people are some of the hardest working people I've ever met in my life, and the area I grew up in, I've interacted with and been around a lot of Hispanic people. They are amazing. Their families and parents, they are amazing. If they don't have a job, they're finding a way to make money, make some kind of income, however, whatever means, and they can cook their freaking you know what's off. They are ridiculous, but I don't know. Not committing crimes against people of color, helping one another, um, rather than you robbing me for because you need money because you need to feed your family, quote unquote. I got some extra food at the house. I'll cook dinner. Let's get together. Let's have fun. Your kids play with my kids. We're cool. We're chilling. Let's have a barbecue. You may have a couple pieces of chicken or something. Let's throw it on the grill. I got burgers. Let's come together. Like, you like, oh, you need to, you need to sell drugs, or maybe as a female you feel like you have to go um, basically sell your body. And when I say sell your body, I do not mean OnlyFans or anything like that. I can get into that a whole different day when I'm talking about prostitution and whatnot. I'd rather you keep your health intact and stay out of trouble from the wrong people. um, Let me help you find a job. Simple as that. You don't need to go to some agency, or you don't need to be online all day. Let me help you find one. I know where jobs are. I got you. I think we just need to be more about each other so we don't have to rely on the protection of those racist police officers. And to a certain extent, there's nothing we can do about them. But I don't want to have to rely on rich white people who don't like colored people to help colored people. I would like to rely on my fellow colored people of the same race, of different ethnicities and all that. I'd rather rely on each other and build each other up until all of a sudden they're relying on us. Now it's going to take longer than I'll probably live for, but I mean, why not start let's say maybe we can do it before then. Why are we so okay with feeling like we're oppressed when we are we're not the minorities. They call us minorities, but we're not the odd ones out. We are a huge community that is bigger than them. So why are we acting like, there's just all these racist white people who don't like colored people, and there's just little tiny us. Well, when our minds are thinking like that, of course we're going to feel like that. But if you can kind of elevate yourself and support one another, I got you, you got me, we'll grow together and make sure that we're, stacking our money and we're able to live a happier life, and all of our kids can go to good schools if they want to, or able to follow out their careers and passions, and we have no need for government assistance. We have no need to support these people. They don't have any power unless we give it to them. So I can go on forever about that, but I think that's just something I wanted you guys to take away from that. And then the love of my life said a series of unpopular opinions, and if I have a guest, pick a topic you two don't agree on. I don't have a guest, but a series of unpopular opinions. I don't know. I really don't know. A series of unpopular opinions. I don't know. After everything I just talked about in the last one, I'll probably have to just save that for next time. But yeah, I really wanted to make sure I let everybody know to, if you're really tired of these race issues of seeing people of color being mistreated, of being poor and having to do other things, to make ends meet, or people of color feeling like they are the minorities because we're called minorities right off the bat. Support them. Look out for one another. Be there. Communicate. Go next door and meet them. Learn about their history. Have parties with them after COVID's over, Get to know them and make it so nobody can come in your community and just take you guys over. Make it normal where if you see a police officer mistreating a person of color, we're all gonna step in. We're all gonna make sure we're okay. Don't be a bystander, and don't just let yourself be a witness to injustice, but be part of the solution. Support each other. That's probably the biggest thing we can do as people of colors to ensure that we don't need, quote unquote, the white man to be our source of income in our life, our source of success, and how we live. It's on us. So, I'll probably end it on there. I've pretty much made this long enough. Now, I know a usual podcast usually has a better mic, a better camera quality, maybe it's a little bit more structured, but at the end of the day, I just wanted to kind of speak my mind on whatever you guys had for me. So let me just say, I appreciate everybody who responded to my story and left me some very interesting things. I thought I was going to get maybe 2 or 3, and that I was going to have to come up with the rest, but you guys gave me so much that I thought I'd just dedicate the first podcast to what you guys have asked me. So if you did enjoy the podcast, let me know in the comment section below. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video that I'm about to start making right after I'm done and upload this. And yeah, catch you guys later. Comment any thoughts on any of the topics I discussed down below. Follow the links in the bottom. See you guys later. Love ya. Bye-bye.